Hello and welcome to Audible River. I'm Alan Rice, and I am very happy to be here with Craig Goldberg, co-founder of InHarmony Interactive. Hello, Craig. How is it going today?
Good morning, Alan. I am sensational. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Hey, so I want to just ask you right away. What is InHarmony Interactive? What do you do with that? It's a company, right?
It's a great question. We are a company, we are a business. We are a manufacturer of what we call relaxation furniture. And it's basically the power of sound and vibration. So, over the last 10 years, I have focused my career, line of work, study on the science of frequency and sound and its impact on our physiology, our anatomy, our neurology, all in an effort to help calm and relax the nervous system, all in an effort to help anyone and everyone feel their best, optimal human performance, show up the best they can, be the best parent, the best father, the best athlete, the best husband, the best wife, significant other, whatever. And it's all powered on harnessing sound and vibration and its ability to calm and relax the nervous system.
Well, that's a pretty big thing. Sounds like to me. I mean, it's like that was a lot of stuff that you're covering
We
there. Yeah.
it's simple. It's ultimately, look, here's the summary. The summary is every single person that's listening right now is a human being with a nervous system, a pair of ears, a way that they're interacting with the world around them.
Hmm.
I was just having this conversation with my 6-year-old this morning. We each get 86,400 seconds a day. There's 24 hours in a day. There's 86,400 seconds. We get to decide how we apply, right? We all get the same amount of time every single day. We
Uh-huh.
get to decide how we apply those moments. What are we going to focus our energy on? And for many of us, sleep is at the bottom of that list.
Oh, yeah, right. I don't pay
Hustling,
attention.
right? If you're hustling, you're building, you're growing. However, sleep is the number one biohack. It's the number one way to make sure that your body is performing the way that it's supposed to perform and not just logging hours in bed, but actually getting deep sleep. The difference between sleep and meditation is it's nothing more than a conscious perception of a slower brainwave state.
Oh, really?
And that's, I think, really important. So here's the reality. Your downtime is as important as your uptime. So if you want to feel better, do more, and perform optimally, rest and relaxation is actually really, really important. And that's really been the forefront of study for me is how can we hack? All right, so if sleep, mindfulness, and meditation is the single most important thing you can do for longevity and overall health, what can we do to hack that? What can we do to get more from less? And that's where vibroacoustic therapy comes in. Vibration, acoustic is sound. So laying down on our technology, what's behind me, you were commenting on that zero gravity recliner behind me.
Yes, yes. Earlier, I'm admiring that chair I see behind you, right?
It has within it tactile transducers and speakers. Think of it
Wow.
like a sound system.
Uh-huh.
When you're listening to music there, it feels like you're front row at a concert.
Okay.
And our record label creates music that you play through our furniture that anybody can download and listen to through any speaker. You don't need our equipment to do it.
Hmm.
But listening to our frequency is scientifically proven to relax the nervous system, to take you from fight or flight into rest and digest. And that's really what you need. You need to log hours in that rest and digest state, that parasympathetic nervous system response, so the body can perform the way that it's so brilliantly designed to perform. When you're stressed and anxious, your body has a different set of priorities. When you're calm and relaxed, your body is maintaining itself and taking care of itself. And that's the focus of our business. It's about teaching people how important rest and relaxation actually is. And I don't mean like a lazy day on vacation. I mean like look, I'll give you a great example. It's 9:09 here on the West Coast as we're recording this.
Hmm.
My head hit the pillow last night at 2 a.m.
Wow.
My daughter climbed into my bed this morning at 7 a.m. I went straight into a phone call with the East Coast, right? Like I got a lot going on.
Right.
And my phone call was for a ribbon opening for a client of ours that has our products and is trying to get everything set up. And I was like, I'll call you I'll call you your 10 a.m. He goes, that's your 7 a.m. You're going to be up. He knew I was going to the event last night.
Right.
I said, yeah, I'll make it happen. This morning he was like, hey man, thanks so much. I really appreciate you being there for me. I said, no problem. I got the sound lounge. My sound lounge, my technology. After this recording, I'm going to do my live. After my live, I'm going to get on my sound lounge for 20 minutes. That 20-minute session is equivalent to 4 hours of sleep.
20 minutes. So, yeah, I mean, yeah. So you're saying this is like you're calling this a hack because obviously you found a way through certain frequencies. And okay, now the chair, you used the word transducer. Now
Oh,
this is, this is different than listening, right? Okay. All right. So
feeling.
okay.
That's right.
You're feeling.
So I'm holding in my hand a tactile transducer, which is it's about 4 inches round, it's about 2 inches thick, and it has audio cable connections into it.
Uh-huh.
And we have four of these in our Sound Lounge line. There's four. There's actually six in here, but that's a more complicated answer. But this tactile transducer. So the human body perceives sound in two different ways. Most of us are very familiar with the ears and the auditory nerve, the cochlea in the ear. We hear
Right.
sound.
Right.
However, we also feel sound. Now, this is relative when there's an explosion and you feel that compression, or you're at a concert or a nightclub and they've got a sub, or your home stereo system that has a sub, right?
Right.
The big explosion and the sound goes off and you feel the rumble through your body. We feel sound through mechanoreceptors in our skin. From the tips of your fingers to the tips of your toes to the top of your head, everywhere in your body are millions of these mechanoreceptors. Your sense of touch is actually a change in pressure, and sound is actually a pressure wave. So I think to the untrained person, myself included 10 years ago, before I really dove into the science of sound, you think of a sound wave as that wave that's moving through the air, and it's not. It's actually a change in pressure. That sub, that, think back to when we were kids, and if you ever saw a friend that had like 15-inch kickers in the back of their trunk, right? Like, we all
Yeah.
remember that from being
Yeah.
kids. I don't know if they're still doing that these days, but
Uh-huh.
whatever, right? We see the cone of the speaker and it's moving in and out,
Oh
up and
yeah.
down. I'm
Right.
moving my hands up and down right now,
Right.
but you can visualize what those speakers look like. That is actually changing the pressure of the air around it, and sending that pressure wave is what we perceive as sound. And even in the cochlea, in the ear and the auditory nerve, it's actually changes in pressure that we perceive as sound. The change in pressure, I'm pushing down on my arm right now with my finger,
Uh-huh.
and you can see my skin depress, right? I'm pressing in on my skin. That's a change in pressure. There's more pressure on my arm where my finger is touching, and I'm indenting my skin. I'm pressing my skin down, right?
Right.
So the mechanoreceptors in the body, our sense of touch, are going through the supercomputer that is our brain, harmonizing with the changes in pressure on the electrical signals of what we hear, and that's how we perceive sound. If there's
Oh,
an explosion off to your back right, your ear hears the explosion, the sound wave that
yeah.
hits your ear,
Right.
and your body feels the change in pressure, and that's what makes you startle or jump.
Right. But you know what?
So,
I mean, just a second. That answers a question that I've had in my mind. Is like with only two ears, like hearing in two directions, how do we know when something's behind us? Or
oh,
right.
that's the magic.
Yeah.
So there's two things for that, and that has to do with the fact that you have two ears,
Okay.
and that they're processing information in real time. The supercomputer that is your brain, and the manner in which we as human beings perceive the world around us, is it's nothing short of miraculous.
Right.
So what's actually happening? Let's say there's a gunshot in your rear right. Okay.
Hmm.
What's actually happening is that sound wave is traveling off the muzzle of that gun, and it's actually hitting your right ear milliseconds before it hits your left ear.
Right. Okay.
The brain, in that split second, milliseconds, I think it's something like 15 milliseconds or
Wow.
something, is processing that sound came into your right ear first, and your left ear, I mean, sound travels at what, 800 miles an hour or something like that.
Right.
So,
Right.
you're talking about split second, but it's enough for your brain, which then pairs that with the data set that comes in from your rear shoulder and back, the mechanoreceptors in your body, that says, "Oh, that was over here."
Wow. Wow.
Remarkable.
That's amazing. So now let me see if I got this word. I think it's a new word for me. Mechanoreceptors.
Mechanoreceptors,
Am I saying that?
mechano, mechanoreceptor. Yep. And
Okay.
we actually have three different kinds of mechanoreceptors. So let's talk frequency for a second.
Yeah, I do
Okay.
want to talk about that.
So, and I'll make it relative, that I think a lot of folks can understand. So the mechanoreceptors in our body, we have three different kinds, but they ultimately activate between 5 hertz and 1,000 hertz.
Okay.
All right. So hertz is that sine wave, that one wavelength,
Right.
right? 1 hertz. We think of a 20 hertz frequency, 30 hertz frequency, 40 hertz frequency. These are sound waves, and it's how we describe sound waves. Music is an infinite number of frequencies, which we'll get into in a moment.
Okay.
So the skin and the body, the mechanoreceptors, activate between 5 hertz and 1,000 hertz. To put that in perspective, the human ear, a healthy human ear, activates between 20 hertz and 20,000 hertz. Okay, so that's a
Oh,
healthy ear. Now,
okay.
as you get older, you start to lose that 20,000 becomes 19,000, becomes 18,000. As the cochlea in the ear die off, we don't regenerate them.
Oh,
As they die off, your hearing gets lower and lower. That's why when you're in your 70s or 80s, you can't hear those high frequencies. You can't hear the whisper. You can't hear people talking. You have a hard time breaking out and delineating between background noise and forefront noise, right? Who's speaking to you and what's in the background.
right.
That's because you lose the higher frequency. But anyway, a healthy ear, 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. Let me put this in further perspective. That home stereo system that we were talking about before, the subwoofer
Yeah.
in the home stereo system is typically 80 hertz and below.
Okay. Okay.
80 hertz and below.
Yeah,
So vibroacoustic therapy, which is the body of research that governs what we do, it's been around for 55 years, since the mid 1970s.
okay.
Vibroacoustic therapy is a formal body of research that focuses on frequency and its impact on the body. That
Okay.
body of research focuses on 30 hertz to 120 hertz as low level frequency,
Okay.
think of it as base frequencies, and its impact on our physical body and our body's perception of vibration, feeling the sound, not hearing the sound, although that's part of it. So we have the mechanoreceptors, which are 5 hertz to 1,000 hertz. We have the human ear and the cochlea, which is 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz.
Okay.
And then we have our equipment. So now there's kind of 4 elements to this whole thing. There's first the human body and and the hardware that we have in the human body to perceive the technical specification of the human hardware.
Yeah.
Then we have the technical specification of the audio equipment that's in our technology. Then we have the music that we create, because
Right.
music is different frequencies, and I can choose what to play through it. So I can think like reggae, which has deep bass lines, versus classical music, which is more, higher frequency music, right? And then the fourth, which is my favorite. So you have the hardware in the human body, the hardware in our technology, the music that we create, and then the fourth, which is the brain's perception of all of that, which is the fourth factor that makes you and I could listen to the same song on my technology and have a completely different experience, because you are you and I am me.
Because we have
And your
different
brain,
processors. Yeah.
different processors. So there's the reticular activator system in the brain, which is what filters out all the stuff that's not important to Alan. And I have one in mind, and Alan, you've been training yours for your entire life.
Yes.
And Craig has been training his reticular activator system to tell me what's important to me. The human brain processes 4 billion bits of information per second.
Wow. 4 billion per second. I don't even know, like, how do you,
Incomprehensible.
right.
It's
Yes.
incomprehensible.
Yes. Right.
Okay. However, Alan can handle 4 in your conscious mind.
Huh.
So your subconscious mind, 4 billion inputs per second. Your conscious mind can handle 4. So the reticular activator system is what is filtering all of that noise out
Oh, wow. That's a
and
lot of
telling
work.
you what's relative, okay? Which you've been training your pattern recognition system, the reticular activator system, of what's important to you. I'll give you 2 great examples. You don't feel your clothes until I said feel your clothes.
I know. I was going to say until you said that, right?
And it works for everybody who's listening to it, right? Why? Because the reticular activator system goes, all right, look, I feel the shirt. I get it. The shirt's there. It's not important. I don't
Right.
need conscious Alan to know that his clothes are on, right? Until Craig said, feel your clothes. And then all of a sudden, Alan's like, wait a minute. We do feel our clothes. We feel our clothes. We feel our clothes. Push that to the forefront. Give you another great example. Two more, actually.
Okay.
What was the last car you bought? Rented, leased, whatever.
Okay. Oh, you're asking me the question now? Okay.
Color.
Yeah.
Just tell me the color
Oh
and the
yeah,
make.
white and
White.
Honda.
Cool. So when you were looking to buy that white Honda, all of a sudden, everywhere you went, you saw white Hondas.
That's right. Yeah.
They were always there. They just weren't important.
Right.
Right. I just got a white truck, Ram 2500, and
Nice.
while I'm shopping for this thing, I said to my wife, I was like, man, there's white Rams everywhere. And it's like they've always been there. It just hasn't been relative, right? That's one. And I'll give you one more. When you walk into a crowded restaurant, let's say there's 50 tables and it's, lunchtime and it's packed and it's loud, right? And you walk in and you want to have a conversation with me while we're having lunch together. 30% of your hearing is through your eyes.
Oh, you know what?
Because
I
your
get that.
eyes direct your ears and your brain on what to pay attention to.
Interesting. To filter.
But right now,
Yeah, go ahead.
right now, you're looking at the camera. You're actually looking at the screen,
Yeah.
which is looking at my mouth. Your eyes are telling your ears, focus on what Craig has to say right now. So when we walk into that crowded restaurant and there's 50 tables all around us, okay? And we're engaged in a beautiful and wonderful conversation. And all of a sudden, somebody 3 tables away says to Alan. And all of a sudden you perk up and you go, huh? Your brain hears every single conversation in that restaurant.
Interesting. Right.
Wild.
It's in there. It's in there, but I'm not registering it
It's not
consciously.
important. And your eyes are looking at Craig, telling your brain, focus on what Craig has to say in all of this noise. It's like when you go to see a speaker or a concert and you have an obstructed view and it's just not the same experience.
Right.
Like you're all the way back up in that overhang. You just can't see all the stage. Like it's just not the same experience. So anyway.
Oh, what, Craig?
This is the science that I dig into, and I just absolutely love it.
I love it. But, to that point, what you're talking about, I noticed that myself. I mean, when during COVID, when we're all wearing masks, I had the hardest time understanding people, but because people were talking normal, but I couldn't see their mouth, right?
100%.
And so my brain was going like, being really confused about trying to put the sounds into words that I could
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sounds muffled, right? It's because you can't see where it's coming from. Your eyes can't process what's happening. It's one of the reasons why it was so detrimental for our kids. These masks, social distancing, it was really detrimental for a few years of childhood development.
Wow.
Right? You or I have plenty of years interpreting and being able to tell what people are saying. I'm covering my mouth now with my hand.
Oh yeah. Hey, don't do that. Don't do that.
It's just
I'm
not
just kidding.
the same. Right?
No, it
And
isn't.
you
Right.
Headphones, and it's just not the same.
No, right.
And that's because of what your brain is doing to process the world around you. Think about it. Your brain is sitting in a black hole. Most people don't realize it, but your eyes are actually connected to your brain. It's the only place where you can see your brain is when you're looking at somebody else's eyes.
Ooh.
And it's the way that your brain lets light in. Otherwise, it's just your ears, your nose, your mouth, and that's not giving light to your brain. Your eyes are what protects the light exposure to the brain. So your brain is just sitting in a black hole, and it's just processing electrical signals from your 5 senses.
That's crazy.
To create your mind's eye and to create your perception and your perspective of this reality.
I know we're creating reality in our brains all the time. We're living in a model that our brain creates. I mean, this is something that I think about, and it's like, and how do we? Right, and it's like, I mean, we're getting into like a philosophy of like, how do we know what's real and all this kind of jazz.
It's my favorite. It's my favorite topic, Alan. So I'll give you something really quick. So it takes about 15 milliseconds for light to hit your eye, and that signal to get to your brain.
Yeah.
You think you're seeing the world around you?
I have no idea. I really don't.
You are not, and neither is anybody who's listening to this.
Right.
You are seeing. So think about what it takes to catch a ball. I don't have a ball here, but I'm throwing a USB stick in the air and I'm catching it. Okay.
Yeah.
My brain is 15 milliseconds behind my hand.
15 milliseconds. Okay.
Doesn't seem like a lot.
But
doesn't seem like a lot.
Well,
but it's an eternity when you try and catch a ball or meet something where it is in mid-flight.
Or try to hit a ball going 100 miles an hour, baseball going.
Oh, absolutely. So
Yeah.
here's the deal. Your brain creates a prediction of what will be 15 milliseconds from now. And that's what you're actually seeing.
Oh, it's a projection. It's like that weird soap opera thing. The TV does these things. I mean, it's like when they like they
We're hitting on something I never really talk about on a podcast, but
Okay.
this is like consciousness stuff. And
See, this is my thing though, right? Yeah.
it's neurology. It's understanding what's happening in the brain. And it's funny. I was just listening to this as I dropped my daughter off. I was coming back. A friend of mine is an EDM music producer, and she called me and she was like, "Craig, I really want to put your voice on an EDM track." And I was like,
Okay.
That's great. It's like a sister to me. I was
Okay.
like, "Well, what do you want?" And she sent me a poem to read.
Oh, nice.
So I just read the poem, and then she said, "Hey, look, after you read the poem, just riff, right? Just talk." And I teach, so I just went into one of my lessons, which was perception is your reality, and if you want to change the outside world, change yourself first, and this whole thing that I kind of
Right.
anyhow. And she didn't use the poem; she used all of the and your perception is your reality it's artificial reality is the name of that track. It's by Tara Brooks. She's amazing, and my artist name, which is Switzerland, which is the nickname of mine. And it's on Beatport, and you can find it.
Okay.
But perception is your reality is kind of the main, like, we all think that this is real. This isn't real. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's real. Like,
It's
there's really
they,
a camera in front of me. You're really hearing my voice right
right.
now. Like, it's real.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, it's simply your brain's perception of the reality around you through your five senses that is making it real.
Yeah. And what I like to say is that what is real is our experience. That's all we can be sure
Absolutely.
of, right?
Absolutely.
And then even when you think about
Be
like,
sure of
go
in
ahead.
the moment, because your memory is only 50% accurate.
Oh wow. Yeah. Well, mine's probably less than that. So, but
I mean, mine too, right? Which is why people are like, "Hey, do you remember?" And I just look at them and smile, and I'm like, "No." And they're like, "Really?" And I'm like, "I don't put a lot of effort into remembering. I live in the moment.
yeah.
That's what we're meant to live and experience, is this moment right now."
Exactly. Hey, Craig, something I want to talk to you about. You might understand this. So, if you go online and you look at like these, or going to listen to something for relaxing, it will say like, oh yeah, 432 hertz or 500 and something. And it was like
Sure.
you got these
528.
it's got these numbers on there. So, and then I see like in your playlist, you've got like, oh, there's even one that's like connect with your higher self, I think, or something like that. I was like, well, how does he know
Yeah.
how to do this? How does he know that these? What are you even talking about there? I mean,
Totally.
it's like, yeah.
All right. So it all comes down to, so let's talk about frequency. And
Yes.
right, we went through in the beginning of this. We
Yes.
talked about. I'll
Uh-huh.
get to an answer. It's a little bit long, but it's a worthwhile conversation.
You go for it.
All right. So we talked about the human body's hardware. We talked about the hardware that's in our technology, right? Which is the same as speakers, and right, like subs and speakers at a nightclub or a concert, right?
Yeah.
It's just a certain amount of wattage, right? You go to like EDC, which is these huge concerts, and it's 500,000 watts of music of energy that's flowing into some of these big sound stages. Like
Wow.
Coachella just passed, right? These
Yeah.
stages,
Yeah.
they could have upwards of 250,000, 300,000, 500,000 watts of power flowing through those speakers. Okay. This chair behind me, just to give you an idea, is 200 watts of power.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
So a drastic difference,
Oh
200
yeah.
watts versus 500,000. Okay. So you
Again.
have the hardware in the body, the hardware in our technology, the music. Okay. Step three, the third element that I was talking about is the music.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to the symphony?
Yes. I just went last weekend.
Fantastic. I love the symphony. It's one of the things I actually missed about living in Vegas. There's a symphony here, but it's not the same. I used to live in Manhattan. So,
Oh my God. Yeah. You
all
can't
right.
compare. Right.
So when you get to the symphony early,
Yeah.
and before the conductor comes out, everybody's sitting down, right? The entire orchestra is sitting down. And once everybody has sat, the first chair violinist stands up, and what does he or she do?
Oh yes. It strikes the yeah. Pulls the
Plays
bow.
an A.
Plays an A. Okay. Right. See,
Plays an A.
I'm not a musician, so I don't know these things.
Yeah.
I enjoy music,
Music,
but I don't.
music theory.
Okay.
But
Right.
that's the beauty of it. You don't need to understand it to enjoy it,
That's right.
right?
That's right.
You just need to feel it, which
I,
you do at the
I
symphony.
do. I do.
Absolutely, I
Oh
do
yeah.
too.
Right.
Okay, so that first chair violinist is playing an A,
Okay.
and the entire string section then tunes their A to that A. It's actually a
Oh,
beautiful thing. I'm actually getting teared up as I say this because of the emotion that it brings out of me when this happens. Okay. Then the first chair clarinet stands up and plays an A, and the entire brass section tunes their A to that A. So
uh-huh.
in real time, that entire symphony is harmonizing their instruments to the same frequency.
Wow. Wow.
Now, without getting too much into music theory, each note has a frequency. There's 8 octaves, right? Like
Hmm.
there's 8 notes in an octave. Okay. So you've heard and this will bring it all home. You've heard the conversation of 440 versus 432. You
Yes.
familiar with
Yeah.
that?
Right. 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 Yeah.
Sometime in the early 1900s, they changed the tuning of our music from 432 to 440, and it's disharmonic with the human body. Okay. You might pick up my perspective on my opinion on that conversation.
Yeah. Right.
I don't think there's a conversation to have there. I really don't.
Uh-huh.
So until the early 1900s, that A that the first chair violinist played and that A that the first chair clarinet played to tune the orchestra was 432 hertz. A 432.
I see. Okay.
At some point in 1900, they went up an octave to A 440.
Oh, interesting.
Now, that's just the set point. That's just the tuning frequency.
Uh-huh.
Once the orchestra is tuned to that frequency, how many frequencies do they play during that symphony?
Oh my gosh, unlimited, right? I mean, it's right. It could,
An infinite number of frequencies.
got
You
it.
nailed it.
Okay.
An infinite number of frequencies. Music is an infinite number of frequencies. And moreover than that, are the frequencies in music only full integers?
Well, I don't think so. So I've recently been listening to a guy called Jacob Collier, who is like a
He's amazing.
yeah, so you know who he is, right?
Jacob's amazing.
Okay.
Absolutely. He
Right,
is
right, right.
one of those entertaining musical savants of our age.
Musical savant. That would be my word for him too. But like, I mean, so I like I said, I'm not a musician, so I mean, like listening to him and like watching the documentary and talking to people who are musicians, I'm really getting a feel of like how amazing what he's doing and like playing with all these different frequencies and learning how to like get other people to play his music.
Look, music theory is how these different notes, which are just frequencies,
Yeah,
correlate to one another.
got it.
Let me go back and bring this thought home. So music is an infinite number of frequencies.
Got it.
And to answer my question, frequency does not stop at 40 hertz, 41 hertz, 42 hertz, right? Full integers, 40,
Right.
41, 42. No, it's 40.008, 40.3, 40.375. It's an infinite number of frequencies. And
Right.
it's not just whole integers, right? So that symphony that is tuned to A in 440 versus A in 432, it's just 1 octave higher. It
Uh-huh.
doesn't make it any less harmonic for the body.
Uh-huh.
And that whole 432 versus 440 conversation, in my opinion, is moot and is a non-starter. It just has nothing to do with the harmonics of the body. Now,
Uh-huh. Okay.
everybody's body is different, and your body is a big antenna. And we as human beings are constantly coming into and out of what's called harmonic resonance with the frequencies that we're presented with. This is the basis of our research in
Harmonic resonance.
harmonic resonance. So if you've ever seen a tuning fork,
Yes.
you've seen a 432 frequency or hertz tuning fork, and you strike it. If you have another 432 hertz tuning fork, but this is the one that I strike, this one will start to vibrate because it's in harmonic resonance with each other.
Oh,
If I strike a 432 hertz tuning fork over here and I have a 528 hertz tuning fork here, nothing will happen.
interesting.
I strike this one, it'll go off. I strike this one, it'll go off, but they won't impact or interact with one another. But if they're the same frequency, I strike one and the other one will start to vibrate
So
in
how,
what's called harmonic resonance.
so how does this work with the body?
So your body is constantly coming into and out of harmonic resonance with the frequencies that you're presenting it with.
Okay.
You're either consciously presenting it with frequencies that are harmonic to the body or you aren't.
Okay. Examples.
Most of us aren't. I'll give you a great example. example.
Yeah. Okay.
Have you ever sat and worked in your kitchen when there's no noise on and you hear the compressor of your refrigerator kick on?
Yes.
Kind of a common experience for most of us, right?
Yes. Yes.
I've certainly had that. I'm like, man, it's so quiet in here. I can actually hear the condenser to my fridge kick on. It's like, and it's so loud, even though it's not that loud, right? But there's
Exactly.
just no other noise in the room. That condenser, in most cases here in the United States, is humming at a 60 hertz frequency.
Very low. Right. It's,
Very low. But and that, again, that's not harming or disharmony. And it's not harmful or positive. It's just the acknowledgement of a frequency, right?
uh-huh.
Have you ever heard this story? This is also a very common story, I feel like, this day and age. Um, Man or woman gets diagnosed with cancer. It's terminal. They sell everything, buy a motorcycle, get out on the road. 2 weeks later, they're supposed to be dead, and they are thriving with no more cancer.
Yes. I've heard these stories from people.
Similar stories,
It's like
right?
when you decide to live or whatever that I'm gonna.
You let go of whatever you let go of. That's
Right.
part of it.
Yeah. Right.
In a motorcycle, in particular, a Harley hums at about 40 hertz.
Okay. Oh, so now you're prescribing Harley Davidsons for people's health? It's like,
Uh, I could tell you that that vibration is a very healthy frequency for the body
no
and
kidding.
very harmonic for the body. A cat purrs at 40 hertz. Any
No.
cat lovers out there will know when a cat lays on their chest how good that feels.
It does feel good. Yeah. Right.
Absolutely,
Uh-huh.
right? That most cats hum. They hum between 25 hertz and 50 hertz,
Okay.
but it averages about 40 hertz.
All right.
Look, sound and frequency is really powerful for the body. And to go back to what we were talking about as far as what frequencies we tune our music to and what you see in your question specifically was why is 963 associated with connected with your higher self?
Right.
And that just comes down from a ton of experience and a database of information of people that have confirmed it's just correlations of data.
Okay. Okay.
I know, I don't know, but I can tell you when I put on 963, and not just my music, by the way, any music tuned to 963, I tend to go places. I tend to connect with my higher self. I tend to connect with the spirit world. I tend to be more in the head than grounded in the body.
Interesting.
Whereas 174 hertz, which in our music meditations app, 174 hertz is called My Body is Aligned. 174 hertz, a lower frequency, tends to correlate more to the physical body. 285 tends to correlate more to the tissue of the body. 396, these are also physio frequencies. That's just a body of research around specific frequencies that have been grouped together called solfeggio frequencies. And they correlate and they relate to one another in music theory.
So
They
wait a minute. Say
also
that
happen
again.
to have, they're also studied.
Okay.
People study this. What impact does it have? What do you think about? What do you feel when you're listening to this frequency? What impact does it have? Well, 396 hertz has to do with guilt and shame.
Yeah, interesting.
117 has to do with transformation. 528 has to do with the heart.
Okay, now wait, hang on a second. So when Steven Spielberg has a soundtrack going, with his dramatic scenes, so is this so? Are we're creating emotions? I know it. I feel this. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to cry. And
Steve
so
Spielberg, bless his beautiful heart, is more focused on what's happening on the film. Hans Zimmer.
Hans Zimmer. Okay,
Now,
right. Okay, right. Here we go.
Hans Zimmer is very familiar with what I'm talking about
Okay.
and very familiar with different frequencies and how it's what creates the suspension of disbelief.
Okay.
Do this. Put on a really moving movie scene, whatever that is for you,
Okay.
whether it's action, whether it's love, whether it's whatever, and watch that scene full tilt with a ton of volume, with a great sound system, right? And let it elicit the emotion that it elicits. And then I want you to go back and watch that same scene with no sound.
Oh, okay.
There's no emotion.
It's so the sound is like intimately linked to our emotions. So
We
it's
need
like,
to feel, we need to feel it. It's the limbic system. It's a subset of the nervous system that the mechanoreceptors tap into in the body.
wow, wow.
It's where the emotion comes from. Granted, you can hear things and you can perceive how that feels and you can get an emotional response from listening to something. But if you watch an actor reading a scene versus the final cut of that scene in a movie with soundtrack and edits and cuts and lighting and the whole nine. That's what creates that suspension of disbelief. That's what creates the immersion. It's when you're tapping into multiple senses at the same time, which brings all of this together,
Wow.
that we elicit that emotional release and response to what we're listening to or experiencing.
And you know what? And here's the amazing thing that your company, InHarmony Interactive, like all these things that we're talking about, like how sound is affecting our life and it's like creating these emotional responses and these experiences for us, it's like you've got all this dialed in a way that you can like help people achieve states that are increase their well-being. That's what we're talking about.
So thank you for bringing this back. I really appreciate that because we've been flying all over the place. But so here's the deal. Everything that we just talked about is, I am enamored with the science and the research of everything that we just talked about. And I think
Yes.
it's really interesting. And I think over the years I've learned different ways to explain this so that everybody can understand it.
Yeah.
None of that matters. I mean, it
Okay.
does, okay?
Yeah.
But none of it really matters
Yeah.
because if you do choose to invest in our app or go to our YouTube channel and listen to our music with a sound set, close your eyes and listen to our music through headphones or a speaker or whatever, home stereo system, whatever. Or if you choose to make an investment in our technology, all of this is done for you. And all you have to do is commit to one sound lounge session a day, one meditation cushion session a day, one vibroacoustic therapy session where I'm going to go into the app and I'm going to open that up and I'm going to choose a music meditation. Each one of these tiles, I'm scrolling through my app. Each one of these tiles, there's 255 music meditations in our app as of today. We add a new music meditation every week.
Uh-huh.
And all you got to do is push play and commit to listening to the music. I chose 396, 44 minutes. And I don't know if
Wow.
that's playing right now or if you can hear it or what, but like,
I heard just a whisper of it, but
yeah, then the noise canceling came in. But all
uh
you have to do is lay down, put on the headphones, and lose yourself in the music for as much time as you want to give it. 11 minutes, 22 minutes, 33 minutes.
so now you have a couple of apps that anybody can download and they can experience, some of your, sound technology through the app, like through some, here,
Absolutely.
some headphones or earbuds or whatever. But you
Absolutely.
also, your company produces a lot of these, sort of immersive equipments for
Yeah,
practitioners of different types. So
absolutely.
what kind of people use your equipment in helping others?
So about 50% of our clients are businesses, and 50% of our clients are individuals that want to bring this into their home for their family.
Oh, wow.
The businesses that we serve, massage therapists, acupuncturists, chiropractors, therapists of all kinds, psychedelic therapists to talk therapy, psychiatrists, psychologists. We work with gym owners, physical rehab, PT. We work with alcohol and drug addiction centers. We work with veterans and therapists that work with veterans,
Wow.
first responders, frontline workers, parents, yoga instructors, meditation teachers. I mean, the list goes on and on and on of folks that we work with because of our regulation. So our company is basically focused on regulating the nervous system, and there are there are so many different experiences that we have in health that are derogatory, right? Like this dis-ease that we experience.
Yes, right,
The
exactly.
root cause is a dysregulated nervous system that is spending more time in fight or flight,
Yes.
more time in survival mode, more time in that sympathetic nervous system response than we really need to. And the reality is, when we spend more time in rest and digest, maintenance mode,
Okay.
aka maintenance mode, the body is taking care of itself the way that it's supposed to take care of itself. By contrast, when we're in fight or flight, when we're stressed and anxious, when we're in survival mode, the body has a different set of priorities. It's in survival mode. It wants to protect the being. That's great if it's for an hour or two in the afternoon when your life is actually being threatened. But let's face it, I can't see much of your world, but it looks like an office. It looks
Yeah.
like there's four walls.
Yes,
It
right.
looks like you're controlled. I don't really see anything too threatening going on in that environment, right? Like,
Uh-huh.
let's face it, life is pretty good these days.
Yes.
Aside from what the news cycle will tell you of what's happening in the Middle East right now and what's happening abroad and what might happen here, the threat of what might happen here, most of us live pretty healthy and protected and safe lives.
Yes, we do.
There's not really much to trigger that sympathetic nervous system response and actually threaten our lives. Like I think if you went back over the last 7 to 10 days, I would venture to guess you were never in a life-threatening situation.
Yeah, no. Probably the most dangerous situation would be like, traffic on the highway. It's like, like this guy cuts me off.
Totally. I can't believe that guy stopped so short, right? And that would be life-threatening. And for a second, you want your sympathetic nervous system and those cat-like reflexes to kick in.
Exactly.
Right? But then you want that sympathetic nervous system response to dissipate, and you want the brain to recognize there's no more threat and kicking the chemical cascades associated with the parasympathetic nervous system response. So you can go back to maintaining your body at a cellular level and going about your day as a hunky-dory, life is good kind of way.
Yeah.
However, and unfortunately, too many of us walk around in a sympathetic nervous system response from the moment we wake up until the moment we go to bed, day after day, week after week, month after month, in survival mode, because we read an email, because many people are in survival mode. Let's face it.
Right.
Many people are worried about, they are living paycheck to paycheck. Many people are hand to mouth when it comes to food and not sure where they're next, right? And I've been blessed that I have food and I have water and I have shelter and I have a comfortable place to sleep and I have safety. But even folks that have all of those things are still walking around in fight or flight. They're still walking around in that sympathetic nervous system response because of an email they got from a job they don't like or a boss they can't stand.
Yeah.
Right? Or I can't believe my sister is back together with that guy again. He's terrible for her.
Right.
That's not a life-threatening situation.
But your brain gets worked up over it. Yeah, it can.
And it's not even our situation. It's my sister's life. Let her do whatever. And by the way, I love my brother-in-law and I love my sister and I love my nephews. It's not a real situation.
It's just a story. It's just a story.
But, right? I can't believe my best friend is back together with him. He's terrible for her. Why doesn't she see it?
Yeah.
It's not life-threatening. But you can see how quickly you get worked up and that sympathetic nervous system takes over.
Yeah.
Right? Or you're driving to work and there's traffic. There's construction. I can't believe there's construction. There's never construction here. I should be at work. I didn't leave early enough today. All you have to do is send a text, hey, I'm running a couple minutes late. There's traffic.
Right.
And that person's going to reply like, yeah, no problem. Be safe. We're good.
Right. But we make another story out of it. So how much, okay. All right. I'm going to talk about something here is like, okay, so this is living with anxiety is what I call it. It's like, I got this and it's like a trained way of perceiving the world. And I'm learning this, it's like, with mindfulness and like my Buddhist practices or whatever, like looking at what I'm thinking.
Gotcha.
What I'm thinking is what I'm creating, right? And
100%.
Exactly. So and then a lot of us end up on like antidepressants or whatever. We're doing drugs, and for me, that's really kind of complicating the problem, and it's not really resolving. So we're still like creating the anxiety.
Treating the symptom, not the root cause.
Yes. And I think that, if I can, so this thing that you're talking about, if you're going to try to like do something to your body, this way of like, getting vibrations that elicit emotions or put us into a certain mental state, in my thinking, if you've like let yourself go into that you're retraining yourself, you're retraining your system to adapt in a healthier way. And you're not like, adding in chemicals and throwing your system into like haywire mode. So yeah, what do you think about that?
Let's bring this home. Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So when you get a great night's sleep, the next day, is there anything that can be thrown your way that like throws you into a tailspin? Generally speaking.
Generally speaking. No, everything's easier. Much easier, right?
When I get a great night's sleep, like I just feel good. I'm ready to rock and roll. You can throw whatever you want at me. And I'm just like, it's cool. We'll figure it out. It's all good. By contrast, if I get 2 or 3 nights in a row of poor sleep, like last night I told you I went to bed at 2, I woke up at 5, at 7, right? I got 5 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
That's not enough for me.
Okay.
Right? Am I going to be good today? Yeah. If I were to get 5 hours of sleep tonight and then push it tomorrow, I'd probably be okay. If I did that again Saturday night and I got 5 hours of sleep and then I push it through on Sunday, I'm probably a pretty cranky dude.
Yeah.
Right? Like I'm pretty ornery, right? Like I'm just like, leave me alone, Dad. Not today. Right?
Okay.
So I share all of that because when you're well rested, when you're managing your nervous system response, you don't get triggered. But when you're tired, when you're run down, when you're exhausted, when you're beat up, when you're dealing with too much already,
Oh, yeah.
and then something else gets thrown on, right? Like, look, life is, I'm going to say it, life can be very easy, but most of the time life is hard.
Yeah.
Most days I have a to-do list that is greater than the amount of time in which I can apply to that to-do list.
Right. It seems everybody's having that these days. Okay, go ahead.
Everyone, look, I'm very blessed. I have 3 vehicles.
Uh-huh.
I feel like, I mean, it's only 3 times a year, but I feel like every month there's something I have to do with the DMV for those 3 vehicles, right?
Yes.
My mail shows up in the mailbox
Mhm.
every single day, and it's 10 minutes of wasted time. There's nothing in there. Current resident, ads,
Yes,
right? There's
exactly.
nothing that comes in the mailbox anymore. I
Uh-huh.
have 10 email accounts for the various businesses and things, and there's spam, and I can't get to zero inbox. That's not, I just can't do that anymore,
Wow.
right? Because it's
Uh-huh.
all bullshit.
Yes,
Look no
right.
further than your own email inbox for a task, for somebody else's task list for you to take care of. Think about that,
Oh, yeah, right.
right?
It's like,
So,
yeah.
so I share that at this point because, look, life can be very challenging. And if you let yourself ruminate on the fact that this to-do list is ongoing and it's never going to end, if you let yourself ruminate on that and that becomes your center, then everything else that's thrown at you is going to be one more complexity that you can't handle,
Yeah.
right?
Right,
So,
right.
so look, I just dropped, I keep a pretty busy schedule, right? I told you we're meeting here at 9. I just dropped my daughter off at school at a 7 a.m. call with the East Coast.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, take my daughter, right? Like that's a pretty tight schedule.
Yes.
When everything's going great, that's a tight schedule.
Hmm.
What if I got a flat tire when I was dropping my daughter off at school?
Oh my God. Then your day's ruined, right? Like,
Right? So like that's when everything's going well. That's before there's traffic when there's never traffic. Like I do
uh-huh.
this drive every day. There's never traffic. Why is there traffic here? Well, there's an
Uh-huh.
accident. Or worse, there's an accident on the other side of the road.
Uh-huh.
Right? And it's like it's not even a you get there and you're all I'm all pissed, right? Like,
Uh-huh.
what are we everybody's rubbernecking, just looking at the accident on the other side of the road. It's like, let's go. I
I
gotta
know,
go.
right?
Let's
Yeah.
go. So I share that because when everything is going well, we still feel spun out. We still feel triggered. To somebody listening right now, just me saying the word triggered is triggering their nervous system response.
Yeah.
Right?
I felt that when you
That
said it, right. Yes.
and that comes down to a dysregulated nervous system.
Uh-huh.
And that's our way of saying a dysregulated nervous system, meaning me saying the word trigger shouldn't trigger your sympathetic nervous system response. That
Yeah.
shouldn't put you into fight or flight, but it does
It
for
does.
some of us.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Because your nervous system is dysregulated. You have trained your nervous system to go into fight or flight based on those words.
Yeah.
It's the same with every other situation. The the body and the brain has one response to stress and anxiety. One response, and that's the sympathetic nervous system response. Increase cortisol, increase adrenaline, and there's reasons. There's biological reasons for this. There's biochemical responses that happen when you go into a sympathetic nervous system response that are really important, that are designed to save your life if your life is being threatened.
Right.
But to go back to my point before, most of us aren't really in life-threatening situations every single day.
No.
Some of
No.
us might be, but most of us aren't.
Well,
Right? And that gets us into first responders and veterans and folks that are training to be in life-threatening situations every single day. But we really want to recondition our nervous system to spend more time in calm and relaxed. And that can be done through sound and vibration. It can be done through meditation, mindfulness. It can be done through deep breaths and breath work. There's a lot of different ways that you can do it.
Right. And if anybody wanted to find out what you're doing or learn more about this, they can go to IamInHarmony.com. Is that right?
Yes,
You just
absolutely.
spell
So
that.
look, 2 most important words in the English language, I am. Because
Oh,
anything you put after it, you are. So
oh,
why not be in harmony with the world around you?
I
I
love
am
this.
in harmony is our website.
Man, Craig, this has been very, very. I love this conversation. I've learned a lot, and now I'm going to pay more attention to everything I'm listening to all day. Right?
I, I love that for you, and I'm super grateful. And look, it's being a conscious human being simply means bringing more into your awareness. And I hope that this talk was educational for the folks that are listening. And I'm grateful. I don't really get to talk about this stuff very often,
Really?
really.
Oh my
Like,
goodness.
no, I do with my friends, and
Uh huh.
you know, look, I'll get in a tiff with my wife, and stupid arguments over stupid stuff. I'm with my wife 18 years,
Yeah.
and
Well, happens.
and she'll look at me and she'll be like, "I know none of this is real. I know it doesn't matter. I get it, right?" And I'm like, "No, it is real. Your experience is real. Your emotions are real. Like
Yeah.
this is real in your perception of this reality." But ultimately, no, it's not real. And
That's right. Because it's all temporary anyway, right?
it's all temporary. This too shall pass. It's all temporary. And the power of sound and vibration to calm and relax the nervous system as a passive, feel good experience is really powerful. And I hope folks will take a closer look at what we're doing here in InHarmony. And I thank you for giving me the stage and the opportunity to share.
Well, thank you, Craig. Thank you. I've loved this conversation. Craig Goldberg, everyone. And that is all for this episode of Audible River. And we greatly appreciate our listeners all over the world. And wherever you are on this wonderful planet, we'd love to know what you think about our podcast. So please email us at audibleriverpodcast@gmail.com.